Hello guys. In this exercise, we're going to create a curtain wall and also a curtain grid. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to add a door and mullions to the curtain wall. In addition, so let us play with the material of our curtain panel. Okay? So we are going to learn how to create curtain walls, curtain grids, and mullions. Alright, so the first thing that we will be doing, let me just open up my 3D view as well. So let me click this, go back to the ground floor plan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select here tile views on my quick access toolbar or type WT. So if you don't have this icon here on your quick access toolbar, you can go to the view tab. And then from the windows, you can see there your tile windows or tile views. So if you want to add that to your quick access toolbar here, so all you have to do is to right click that and then select add to quick access toolbar. Okay, so let me select now these tile views so I can see my floor plan view and my 3D view side by side. Okay. Now I'm gonna zoom in here. So what I'm gonna do is I want to change the type of this particular area here of my wall. Okay, so for me to be able to do that, I need to split the wall. So I'm going to select modify and then a split element. So let me click that and then I'm going to zoom in here. So I click and then I specify the distance here from the temporary dimension. So I click the temporary dimension and then I'll just type the distance 150. Okay. And then modify. So as you can see here in my 3D view, it's already split. See, so it's split now there. So I want to split that as well here on my other side. So let me click the split again. SL, that's the shortcut. So let's click that. Let's pick this wall. So it's already 150. That's good. So select here, modify. Now I'm going to change the type of this wall here. So it's now split. So let's go to the properties. Let's change that to curtain wall. Click that one and there you go. So again, if you want to use the exact exercise file that I'm using right now, you can always go to my website, learningwithrich.wordpress.com, and then you just need to find from there the exercise file, create curtain walls, curtain grids, mullions. Okay, so if you want to support me, you can go there and then avail it for only $2. Right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to add here curtain grid. Okay, so I want to add a curtain grid on my mullion here, this mullion. Okay, so to do that, let me go to the architecture and then from the build panel, so there's a curtain grid here. Okay, so let's click the curtain grid and then let us put it here. So I want a distance of 700, so I'm gonna click. And as you can see here, so there's my curtain grid. Okay. And then after that, let me add another one. So let's say I want 800. So 700 and then 800 for the second curtain grid. So let me click. And there you go. And then let me do that to the other side as well. So this side 700 to 700. Click for the curtain grid and then another 800 here. There you go, and then select modify. So as you can see here in 3D view, so this is now how it looks like. Okay. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is let us open up the elevation view here. So let me open elevation south, just double click that, and then there's my elevation. Okay, so I can also change the detail level to fine and then the visual style to shaded. And this is now how it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to add horizontal curtain grid here. Okay, so let's click curtain grid. Okay, and then I'm going to place my curtain grid here. Okay, so let me just click one to place one, and then another curtain grid here. Okay. All right, and then after that, I'll just select here, modify. Okay, so I'm going to select the lower curtain grid here, and I want to specify the exact distance that I want. So let's say I want 2100, say 75, 2175, enter, and there you go. And then after that, I'm going to select the upper horizontal grid, curtain grid. So I select that one, change the value 2250. That's the distance. Enter. And then after that, select here, modify. So what I want to do is I want to add another vertical curtain grid here. Okay. So let me do that. Curtain grid. So let's click this one. And then let's add a vertical curtain grid. So let's click. There you go. And then select here, modify. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to edit my curtain grid here. I only want this one. This curtain grid here, I don't like this curtain grid here because later on I'm going to add a door here. So I need to remove this part of my curtain grid. So I'm going to select that curtain grid, and then after you select, so there is this tool, add, remove segment. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to select this curtain grid, and then click again. You see, every time I click, it adds. If you click one more time, it will delete. Like this one, it becomes broken line. So if I click that again, it will create. So I'm going to click again, so it will delete that part. And then after that, just select modify. There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to create a new material for our panel. So let's say, for example, this panel here, I want to create a new color. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to use a window selection like this. So just make sure that select elements by face is turned off, and also drag elements on selections turned off like this. Okay, there's an X, just turned off that. Just click that to turn it off. So I'm going to use window selection like this, and then I'm going to filter that. I only want to select the panels there, right? And then I select here, okay. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate this. So I want to create another type of system panel. So I'll just call that system panel 2, and then I select here okay, and then I select here okay. Okay, so this one, if I filter this curtain panels, so that's my system panel type. So these panels here, if I filter that curtain panels, so that's my system panel 2. Okay, so I'm going to edit that, and then I'll change the material here. So I click the ellipsis button, and then from the graphics, I'll change the color here. Hang on, so I'll just duplicate this one first, right click, and then I duplicate the material and assets, and then I call this glazing, let's say, I'll just call that spandrel panel. Okay, spandrel panel, and then I'll change the color. So let's say I want bluish, like that, and then I select here okay, and then there's the material of that one, and then I'll select here okay, and then I select here okay, and then I just click outside. There you go. So it's now changed, right? Now, the next thing that we will be doing here is, let's see that in the 3D view, by the way. So that's the one in the 3D view. Go, let's change the detail to fine and then maybe realistic. So realistic view is like that. So for the shaded view, it's like this one. Okay. Right. So the next thing is we're going to add door and mullions to our curtain wall. Okay. So for us to do that, so let's say in this part, I want to add a door here. So I'm going to turn on select elements by face. It's now turned on, and then hover my pointer to that face and then press tab. Tab again until it highlights this face. Tab, there you go. So it's now highlighted. So I'm going to click that. And then from the drop down panel, so I will be selecting here this one, curtain, wall, double glass. Okay, so you click that one and the curtain door will now be placed there. So this is not an ordinary door like this door here. Okay, so if you want to put a door on your curtain wall, so make sure that door is a curtain wall type of door. Okay, so you can't just simply use an ordinary door. So you can go to the insert tab and then you can select load Autodesk family here and then check the curtain wall panels here. So you should be able to select several curtain wall door types here. So you just need to load it. So just like, for example, you just need to click that and then just load it. So it will now be loaded to your project. So if you click that door, click the drop down, you should be able to see that double glass with push bar type of door. There you go, right? Okay, and then let's add mullion. Okay, so let's add the mullion on our model. So let's go to the architecture and then let's select here mullion. So let's click this. Okay, and then from the type here, so I'll be selecting 50 millimeters by 150 millimeters. Okay, so here on the placement, so you have several options here. So you can put a mullion on a grid line, or you can put a mullion on the grid line segment, and then you can also put a mullion on all the grid lines. Okay, so like for example, I'm going to select entire grid line. So I select that one, and then you see if I hover my pointer like that, hang on, let's click that. You see it highlights all the grid lines. So if I select grid line only, so it only highlights that grid line. So grid line segment, just a segment of grid line. Okay, so all grid lines, it will highlight all the grid lines, and then if you click, it will now place your mullion like that. Okay. All right, and then after that, I'm going to select here modify. So you can still edit this one if you want, but we don't need to edit this. Okay, so now let us create a new type of mullion. Okay, so let's create a new type of mullion. So let's click the mullion, and then I'm going to click the drop down. I only have here 50 millimeters by 150 millimeters. So I'll select edit type. I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to call this, let's say 150 by 150 millimeters. Okay, and then I select here OK. And then for the width on both sides, on side 2, 75. So I'll type 75 here as well. Okay, and then after that, I select here OK. All right. Okay, and then after that, after I create that one, so I'm now going to cancel this. So let's see this mullion here. So that's 50. So I'm gonna change that to 150, like that. Click that and then change to 150. Okay, and I don't think I need this mullion, so I'm gonna select that and delete. Oh, hang on. Oh, so it's part of the door, so just cancel. So I select this, and then this one here, hold control, and then change to 150. There you go. Okay, and one thing that you can do is you can click a mullion here. Oh, make sure you select a mullion, and then you can use this toggle mullion join. So you can click that to change the toggle, right? The connection, like that. Okay, so I can also do that here. So I can select this mullion here, and then I can do like that. Okay, and there you have it. So we just created our curtain wall, curtain grids, and mullions. So we have learned how to convert our wall to curtain wall. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.